general stuff. But what I want to talk about tonight is really what moved the needle for me. And everybody is different, and I'm always telling you guys that there's no like one size fits all. Everybody has different lives and goals and struggles and obstacles and things like that, strengths and weaknesses. But I kind of wanted to go over some of mine because mine are not that uncommon when I was struggling with this thing. And when I say was, I mean, I still do. I'll always be, I always tell everybody, like, I'll always be my toughest client. And the things that I always talk about with you guys, I struggle with those things too. I still don't have it all figured out, which is totally fine. I don't want to have things all figured out. To me, this is a process. It's a lifelong process just like explain to you guys all the time. So when you think of it that way, versus having like an end goal or a finish line, then you are always progressing, always making things better, always optimizing. And that's my goal. But it wasn't always like that. So I kind of wanted to go over some of the things that I struggled with. So let me share my screen. All right. All right, here we go. So the five things that changed my life in fitness. So like I said, I want to get real with you. These are the biggest five things that moved the needle for me and completely changed my life. Not just in fitness, but kind of overall, just in general. Because believe it or not, I didn't start off as a trainer. I was always athletic as a teenager and in college, and then life happened, and you guys know my story. Started working undercover, work caught up with me. Got married, had kids, life caught up, and before I knew it, I was 70 pounds overweight and just not liking where that was going and how I was feeling and kind of what my future held for me. So I decided to make a change. But I didn't, so like I said, I didn't start out like this. Like when I started out, I was tired, I was overweight, frustrated, and I felt stuck. I felt trapped on my own body. I remember feeling like that, just feeling like I was wearing like a rusty suit of armor all the time, and I really couldn't move. Um, but I wanted to share the things that really moved the needle for me. So, why this is important. So, people think that success, and these are a lot of the mistakes that I made when I started off too. Um, but people think about success as about finding like the perfect workout or the perfect diet. And, I tried that for years. And what I've learned over the years that there is no one perfect workout or perfect diet. And it's something you guys have heard me tell you before too. Everyone is different. So what's perfect for you is a thing that you can do consistently and for the long term, right? And it took me years to figure that out. So it wasn't until I changed the way that I thought, the way that I lived, and also my environment, the people I surrounded myself, um, that I was able to lose that 70 pounds and keep it off for the entire time. So I wanted to share, uh, hopefully to save you years of trial and error that I had to go through and give you like the five game-changing shifts that changed my life. So that's why it's important to me. All right, so number one, I stopped trying to outwork a bad lifestyle. So I used to think as long as I worked out hard, I could eat like crap, I could run on 4 hours of sleep, be stressed all day, and then somehow get results. And year after year after year, that just did not work for me. Okay, it just does not work like that. I used to think of it as I work out so that I can eat whatever I want to, right? So I can go for a run and then eat like, hamburger and French fries or cheeseburger and French fries, whatever. It wasn't until I changed my mindset and that made that shift that I'm actually eating so that I can work out. It's not the other way around, right? But the moment that I respected like recovery, got serious about my sleep, managed stress, and fueled my body properly, like I said, everything changed. My energy went up, lost weight faster, and performed a lot better. So the takeaway for that little thing is, what you do outside the gym matters more than what you do inside of it, right? You might work out for an hour a day, if that. It's not so much that hour that you spend in the gym, it's the 23 hours of your day that really makes the difference. And people don't usually think of it that way. Number two, I stopped relying on motivation. This was huge. You guys have heard me harp on this a million times. But for years, like I waited to train or eat healthy when I felt like it. Okay. Well, guess what? I rarely felt like it. I wasn't motivated. So one day I said, you know what? I'm done waiting to be motivated. I'm going to be disciplined instead. So, right. So I built habits. I showed up when I was tired. I showed up when I was stressed. I showed up when I was too busy. Okay. But I showed up for myself to build those habits and build discipline. And something crazy happened. Like once I took that step and acted first, then the motivation showed up afterwards. And that's something that I preach now is that motivation is actually a result of taking action. It's not a precursor to taking action or doing something. Okay. Like I said, most people have that flipped. So the takeaway for that is action creates motivation, not the other way around. Number three, I gave up the all or nothing mindset. This is huge. This held me back for years. I was the king of like starting over on Monday or starting over next month or starting over on January 1st. If I had like one bad meal, I was like, you know what, forget it, the day's ruined. I might as well just go for it the rest of the day and I'll start over on Monday. Okay, or I'll start next week, whatever it is. I missed a workout, forget it. I already screwed my whole week. I might as well just start over on Monday, right? So it's always like start on Monday, start next week, start next month, and just month after week, month after month of doing that and getting no results, not making any progress at all. So I changed it. So instead of being wanting to be perfect, because a lot of times perfection is a form of procrastination, I focused on making progress instead. So instead of like thinking 100%, I focused on getting 1% better. Okay, 1% better than I was the day before. And if I couldn't do a full workout, I just did 10, 15 minutes because that 10 or 15 minutes is more important to build that routine than just doing absolutely nothing. Right. And if I messed up a meal, I got back on track for the next one. I didn't think that, okay, well, my day's screwed now. I just got myself back on track and had a good dinner, good lunch, whatever it was. Okay, but I rebounded. Okay. And that was a game changer for me. So the takeaway from that is that it's a game of inches, builds up the biggest transformations. Okay. It's small little incremental progress that's going to really move the needle. So number four, I stopped training just to lose weight. This was big. Again, this is another mind. If you haven't noticed, these are mindset shifts. It's not about finding the perfect workout or perfect diet. These are all the muscle between your ears is what you need to train more often than not. But at first, when I started training, I just wanted to lose weight. I wanted to be skinnier. And then one day I said, you know what? I don't just want to be smaller. I want to be stronger, faster, more capable, more resilient, right? So that made a huge mindset shift in me. So I wanted to be athletic. So if I'm going to be athletic, if I want to be an athlete, then I have to train like an athlete. So, well, what do athletes do? Do they prioritize their nutrition? Yes, they do. Do they prioritize their sleep and recovery? Yes, they do. Do they manage their stress? Absolutely, right? So it started to touch every other area of my life, whether I was like weightlifting or doing cardio or I started racing or whatever, I thought of myself as an athlete. And that is why I always refer to you guys, and I don't know if you've noticed it, I always refer to you guys as athletes. I don't call you clients very often. I always, say my athletes. And that's on purpose because that's how I want you to think of yourself as an athlete. Because athletes prioritize their health, they prioritize their recovery, their stress, their nutrition, like all that. And I want you to make that mindset shift. Okay, whether you realize it or not, that's what I've been trying to do for you guys. So, um, so anyway, so don't train to shrink, train to perform, train to live. Number five, I stopped doing it alone. I did train on my own. Was on my own to figure this all out, which was a struggle. You guys don't have to do that. You have me, you have each other, you have a community. You have people out there that are supporting you. Lean on those people. Okay, they're there for you. Um, But like I said, I did it on my own, and I would have shaved years and frustration off of that journey if I would have gotten a coach like you guys are doing, or got more support. I ended up getting there and finding that community. And the moment that I did, the moment I surrounded myself with people that wanted more of the things in life like I did, everything just got a lot easier. Everything got a lot faster, right? You're always going to progress and move faster when you're training or you're surrounded by people that are doing the same thing or that are better than you, right? It pushes you. Same thing with like racing, right? And if you're in a 5K race, If you start way at the back of the pack, you're going to stay back there. If you start off with the faster runners, it's going to push you to run faster. Okay. Same thing with training, same thing with all your goals. Surround yourself with people that are doing the things that you want to do, and eventually you will also do those things. Okay. That's the way that it works. And now, like I said, I'm blessed to kind of lead that community, to help others like take those leadership roles, which you guys have been doing, and I absolutely love that. It's so um, satisfying to me when you guys are feeling that success and you're like, hey, my wife is now doing this, my spouse is doing it, or my friends, my family like started asking about it and I started sharing stuff with them. And I absolutely love that. You've felt that success, you've seen that progress, that motivation, and you want to share it. That is the next step. And that's actually also going to keep you accountable, and that's going to make you, adopt this lifestyle and do this for the long term. And that's the last thing. Okay. So the takeaway from this is like willpower is temporary, but your environment, like who and what you surround yourself with is everything. So here's the big one. So, and this is kind of what I was getting into. This is a bonus. So this is number 6 actually, but I stopped treating fitness like a phase, right? And this is something that I've always talked to you guys about too. This is not something that you're just doing for the next 16 weeks. The goal is that you do this for the rest of your life, right? Years and years and decades, and that is the goal. And don't think of this as like temporary thing. If you think of this as a temporary goal, you're gonna have temporary results, and that's not what I want for you. That's not what you want for you, I'm sure either. So think of this as a not a phase, but it's a lifestyle. Okay. Uh, and with me, I took it a step further, made it my mission, my identity, like my whole lifestyle. So that's what I do. You don't have to do that. I am not telling you to do that. But when I did that, then my results stuck permanently. It made me accountable. It's the whole reason I became a trainer it's for a selfish reason to hold myself accountable, because I knew that I needed something to make it stick. And for me, that's what did it. Might not be the same for you, totally different. We're all different people. But find that thing is that motivation, that thing is that's going to make it stick for you. Okay. Whether it's, I want to have like good, doctor physicals every year. I don't want to be on medication as I get older. I want to maintain my independence, or I want to start racing or biking or whatever it is. But find that thing that keeps you going, keeps you in the game. Okay. So of all those things, like think to yourself, like which one of these hits you the hardest? Which one like resonates with you the most? Throw it in the comments if you guys are catching this, or just DM me, let me know or message me, let me know what you think. Um, or where do you need to shift? Which one of these things maybe you need to focus on a little bit more, that might have caught your attention or resonated with you, or it might be an issue that you didn't even realize until I just brought it up. So, but let me know so that it's something we can definitely talk about. Okay. So we're heading into that time of year. I love this time of year. I've talked to you a lot of you guys about that. This is my favorite time to coach people because we're getting into the winter. We're getting into that time of year. I've been talking about it all last week about the winter arc. People start to hibernate. We're going to get into the holidays. And we're all in this together. So I love it. I absolutely love this time of year. I'm looking forward to it, helping you guys through these obstacles, helping you guys learn, grow, progress, and get your results. So that is pretty much all I had. Let me stop sharing. Okay, cool. That's all I had, guys. Just know I appreciate all of you. You guys all are just absolute rock stars. You make this community like just great what it is, supporting each other, supporting me, and absolutely love it. So hopefully you guys got something out of this. If you have questions, if you have something that you want to add, nobody popped in here tonight, which is fine. Of course, it's always better when somebody else gets in here. That way we can like talk and it's just not me talking to my camera. So I get it. If you're shy, you're shy. But watch these on the replay, get the value out of them, hopefully. And like I said, add stuff in the comments, reach out to me, give me your thoughts. Let's have discussions about this, because that's how we learn. So, other than that, guys, have a great night. Let's rock it again this week, and I will talk to you soon.